Oh yeah, let's do a stream thing. Hi, hello everyone. How's it going? Let me get chat up over here. I knew the stream was starting. Yep. Where did OBS go? I I just drug it onto a different monitor that I didn't know existed over here. Okay, that's cool. I can't control it now. What? How? More. Move. There, hey, look, I found it again. Hooray. Okay, one moment. Wait, one. Oh, no, what did I just do? I got no idea.
Or says CHEER 100. Where did OBS go? Probably down the pub. It's the only place it doesn't run off to. End of line.
There we go. Yeah, I got no idea how that computer's got two desktops. I wonder what does it show the other one as? I didn't even... There are two? The other one... Oh! Well, that's kind of cool. I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay, so...
13 raiders from Belgium have joined. End of line.
Chloe, first off, thank you for the 100 bits there. Ben and 13 Raiders, hello and welcome. So, Pipewire popped up and it was like, what do you want to capture? And I'm like, I don't know, I just tapped a thing. Apparently it added a virtual monitor. I don't even know what that is. That's so weird. Okay, anyway. That's strange. Alright. What are we doing today? We're doing PyDiscRip. Yay! It's the only thing I've done all week. Yippee! It's totally. I'm ready to stare at the same code again. Yeah, actually, I made a lot of progress on PyDiscRip this week. So last weekend on one of them days that we did stuff, maybe we worked on PyDiscRip because I wanted to add a web interface to it. And to get that working, what I needed to do was, like, completely change how it reads the media sample data in.
Tier 1. They've subscribed for 41 months, currently on a 41-month streak. And says, are we gonna do stuff again today? End of line.
Maybe stuff, or some junk, or some nonsense, possibly, yes. Hiram, thank you for the tier 1 sub, and for 41. Holy moly, that's so many. That's 32. That one's 8. 41 months. Thank you so much. Apparently, I don't know what you guys are talking about with the invisible person. When you put your monitor earbud back in its case, that is annoying. Some tangents, yes, perhaps some tangents. Yeah. So, yeah, I've massively changed how PyDiscRip works, but basically made zero progress on the actual web front end, which is kind of hilarious. I got no idea what you're talking about, Go Show Me. I genuinely do not. I'm just going to ignore that comment. So, encoding artifacts. Oh, fun. This is MPEG TS. We could try going back to,
Squid subscribed at tier 1. They've subscribed for 26 months,
Oh,
currently
that's
on
long.
a 26-month streak. And says wonderful background noise for me reversing the fruitless year-long effort of trying to install Core Boot FOSS firmware replacement on my think the W541 I guess I'm just gonna have to settle with the cleaned, whitelist removed, restripped version of the stock firmware. Also hi hello hi. End of line.
Squid, thank you for the tier 1 sub and for 26 months. I appreciate that. Good luck. I've never tried anything like that, so I have no clue. Keep it MPEG. The other never works out. Actually, though, for the last couple of weeks, we were having no problems with it. Unless you guys just weren't mentioning it. It was working better before, so I don't know. So, yeah, there was a thing I was going to do. Oh, yeah, I know what I was going to do now. I could show it to you in a moment. Yeah, let's just move on. So, boom. Hey, oh, look at that. It's crazy. We reached 1.44 mega signatures. Woo! Yeah! So there it is. It's over as of today. But there it is. It had to end on it. 1.44. Why does it say it's still open? Yeah, because they haven't updated this. I mean, I already updated the Mario Kart World map.
CHER 101. End of line.
Swarm, thank you for the 101 bits. But yeah, it ends at 1.44 mega signatures. I mean, I'm happy. Water heater, spring. Ooh, that's rough, Hiram. Oh, that's really bad. I'm sorry that happened. EU's doing EU things regardless of what their inhabitants want. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm hoping this ends up like USB-C and iPhones. So that's excellent. All right, what was I doing? Mega signature sounds like something related to crypto mining. It kind of does, doesn't it? Yeah, but the UK is not the EU, so you know you can't blame them for that. I mean, you can blame the UK for, but you know that's not my problem. I'm gonna stay out of that. What was I gonna talk about? I was gonna do it. Oh yeah, I was gonna do a thing over here. Okay, really quick. One moment. Let me mess with some stuff here. I need to click this. 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 And then I need to go here, and then I need to add a thing, and then I want to do this, and then I'm going to do this. I want to click that, and then I want to do this, and I want to do... No, that's the wrong number. Oh, getting closer to there, and then boom, and it's invisible. Why is that to be invisible? Hold on. Let me do this. That's still invisible. That. Wait. Oh, hold on. I'm going the wrong direction in a way. I need it to be 255. And then probably that'll be acceptable. I can't tell. What does it look like if I do this? Yeah, I mean, that's a thing. Okay. Wow, that's irritating and very consistent. Okay. Flashbang, yeah, sorry. Okay, so here's what this is. All right. So this is on the server at home. That is my internet stability. Anytime, I'm just going to go with full screen. Anytime there is a spike, that is my internet going down. And it seems to be pretty darn consistently happening. So that's cool. But yeah, that's I'm tracking that now. So that's fun. Because, you know, my home internet's so reliable. But now when the internet goes down, I'll be able to pull that up and I'll be able to go, hey, look, yep, it was down. All right. That was a project I did this morning. You say maybe one spike? Oh, there were way more than one. Hold on. Oh. Well, okay, no, it wasn't quite that. Hold on here. So it's really hard because I'm getting compression from the VPN, and you're getting video compression from OBS. So there's a spike here, there's a spike here, and there's a spike here, and then there's a spike here. Oh yeah, if I hover over it, it actually tells me about it. Look at that. Spikes, downtime, 1. Okay, so, yeah. The other, what I thought were spikes was actually the grid showing on OBS as spikes. That was my bad. It wasn't spikes. What if I F5 that? Well, it's like that. It doesn't really help. But yeah, so I am tracking that now. So that's actually just tracking the return exit code of pings. And because it's their fault, I'm pinging my ISP's website as my check source. Email is telco whenever speeds dip. Yeah, but mine dips to 0, and then I can't email them. Can you increase the line thickness for those of us not on massive screens? Probably, but I threw this together in 40 minutes, so I don't know how, and I'm not going to worry about it at the moment, because it doesn't really matter. We're never going to look at that on stream again, most likely. Matter of fact, I'm even just going to delete the browser source. Boom. Okay. I was trying to do it as a browser source, so it was appended on the server side, so you get the clearer view, but I can't easily control that. So, all right, PyDiscRip, let's look at this. Okay. It is more difficult for me to demo this here than it is at home, oddly. I need more external optical drives, but the only other one I have is FireWire, and this computer doesn't have the FireWire port on it. I don't have more 5 1/4 inch bays that I can put drives into because it's all full of liquid cooling, but let's just go ahead and go over this. Actually, I think I need to install another thing. PyCDIO. All right. Yeah, we need this. Also, look at what my news was talking about. They were talking about 3M killing us all, and their background B-roll was double density 3.5 inch floppy disks. This was today. Today. There were floppy disks on the news. It was great. I had a good laugh. All right. PyCDIO. That's right. Okay, so to install this, we got to install a bunch of nonsense. I like how some of these, they merge, and most of them, they don't. So we're going to grab this. Also, this isn't CSS. That's actually text, so I'm going to delete that. It was a story about 3M, yes. But it was not a story about 3M floppy disks. Well, the Scotch VHS tapes were just bystanders. The real thing was that they needed to talk about 3M, so their B-roll was 3M floppies. And the fact that there were double density ones tells you that that was probably pre-2000s. Currently backing up floppies right now. Always a good time. This software isn't phenomenal for floppies. At least the current update. I mean, it'll still work with them, but it's not. It's complicated. It was PIFAs, yes. This box 3D printed save icons, yeah. All right, now we can actually try and run this. Okay. Let's leave this up here. Where'd my folder go? Why is it over there? Get back over here. Okay. DiscRip. Okay. So I'm going to go to archiving. Boop. And then I don't have a test folder. Let's go ahead and add one. I believe we still have the Belkin disk in the drive. Yes, we do. So we can go ahead and rip that as a test. I might even bring that home because I think it was really tiny, wasn't it? And I'm really, really tired of my rip lock CD drive getting stuck on a, 60 megs on a really small disk, only 300 megabytes, or even a 142 megabyte disk, and it takes like 10 minutes to rip. It's ridiculous. Anyway, let's see. All right, let me show you how this works now. So we got DiscRip, okay, and we have some new pip install PyCDIO CDIO -- break packages break system. So just I don't care anymore command. Okay. There we go. Alrighty. So
Spisophman subscribed at tier 1. They've subscribed for 40 months, currently on a 40-month streak. And says that we have some new errors. Wait, that's not what I wanted to show. End of line.
Yeah, really. SpicesMud, thank you for the tier 1 sub and for 40 months. I appreciate that. So, several new options here. So, first off, the output option now actually works. Didn't work before. It was a lie. It was there. It didn't do anything. So now it works. We also have JSON watch. This will take a directory path, and then any JSON files that are put in there that describe a media sample are loaded in and ripped. And this one has an especially cool feature that I'll show you in just a second. Also, preserve order. We'll get to that. Web, that still starts the web server, and then settings, I think we already had before. But let's try DiscRip, all right, with the watch folder, and we'll set this to input, and then we'll have an output folder just called output. I can type. Boom. So unrecognized option input. Oh, that's right, it's J. I really wanted it to be W for watch, but W for web makes way more sense. So instead it's JSON for watch. All right, these are the default drive groups. You can specify these in settings if you want, but in general, that's gonna work. There's a set of dummy options. You can ignore those. I'll remove those once I'm done developing this and push it to the main branch, but that can be added later. So we now have an input folder, and it'll make an output folder later when we actually do that. So here we have an example of a media sample. So this is from when we ripped this before. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete all of that, and then we have this. So we have the name, the media type, the drive, and a description of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save this now, and I'm going to take this file and I'm going to move it over to here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to have you see this, and then I'm going to just copy this file into the input folder, and it will now start to automatically rip the CD.
They've subscribed for 42 months. End of line.
There it goes. Well, clicked the wrong thing. It's ripping the CD now after having just put the JSON file into the input folder. Blake GJ, thank you for the tier 1 sub and for 42 months. That is this many, I think. Yes, Yes, that many. Thank you so much. That's it. It's done, and it ejected the disk afterwards. So I'm just going to put the disk back in for now, and it will have gone through and modified. You know what? That's fair, because it should have been named the name of the thing. It will resave over itself to say that it is done as well, so it can be ignored the next time. I'm going to go ahead and pull. I'm going to delete that one and pull this file out. There we are, and we can see here is our output. Deck Talk didn't like that GIF sub. Other streamers have experienced this issue a few times. GIF sub? I did not. Okay, maybe they must have changed their API or something. I didn't hear anything about the GIF sub at all. My apologies. Let me open this up over here. Was it a single targeted GIF sub? Again, because that seems to be what's broken. Yep, it was. RHK, thank you for the gifted sub. My apologies. Yes, gifting a sub to a specific user does not seem to trip the API that I'm watching. I need to work on that at some point. Not today. Maybe we'll do it at some point this week. Maybe, because if I don't do it on stream, I'm just not going to do it. Let's be real. Because I get distracted by other things I have to work on. And it's a stream problem. Fixing it on stream seems like an effective way of handling it. So maybe we do that tomorrow. Today I don't want to get distracted. I want to demo this and work on some other stuff. Coming over to the dark side from YouTube. Okay. JSON and JavaScript tangents upcoming. I mean, that's what we're doing right now. Anyway. Okay, so rip the CD, all I did was drop this in there. Now, because this is a super fast setup, I'm just going to delete that again, and we'll leave that be. So, again, all we have to do is start it with the -J input, and we can optionally specify an output. We don't technically have to. It can work in the directory, but it feels wrong not to do that. But there's another thing we can do. We can add -W for web here. And now, I can open this, and it opens in the wrong window. Boop. And now we have this. So we can specify our type. Auto will try to detect if it's a CD, DVD, or Blu-ray. Grease weasels for floppy, because all floppies ripped is flux first, and then you have to specify a config. We don't have config specification in here yet. And then dummy is for the test object. We're going to set this as an auto optical disk. And then we have some options here. This is hard-coded. Currently, again, you could specify this with a settings file, but this is just when I was doing my testing. So, we have a optical drive. This is dev SR0. Maybe I put that in parentheses around this so you can see that. These are floppy drives A and B. Down here are the specific dummy drives that I have in there. But then the more interesting new feature that has been added to this software. Groups. And again, I unfortunately can't really demonstrate this right now because I don't have a system with multiple optical drives in it here. But what this can do is this can handle multiple drives in one machine, ripping a sequential stack of media. So for right now, I'm going to set this to the CD-DVD group.
Subscribed at tier 1. They've subscribed for 3 months. And says versioning is for the week. End of line.
Lydia Jet, thank you for the tier 1 sub and for 3 months. I appreciate that. So we're going to, from the web interface here, set up a Belkin thing that uses the CD-DVD group rather than the specific drive. I'm going to start the rip. You'll see that this writes a Belkin file into there, and then in the background, it starts ripping the disk. But the cool thing is I can come in here and add another one. So let's say I had a CD for Win98, right? I could do this. I come in here, do that, and then I could start a rip for that. Now, it didn't actually start anything because this is being added to a queue. So what's going to happen is it's going to finish, all right? It's going to eject the tray, and now it should There we go. Insert Win98 into dev SR0. It's going to tell me to insert the next disk into the drive so I can continue going. Now, this needs to be brought back to the web interface. That's pending issue. But now I'm reinserting the disk, and it's going to detect that automatically. I've clicked nothing. Found disk with 1 tracks, and it's going to start ripping that. Now, it's just the exact same Belkin disk, but it doesn't need to know that.
Ultimate says in the let you finish, but Shelby had the best disk ripping script of all time. Of all time, CHER 100. End of line.
Ben, thank you for the 100 bits. I'm not quite sure what you mean. Because if it's the bash CD ripping script, I'm hoping this deprecates that into the deepest pits of irrelevancy. If cup holder exe just opens a tray, well, I mean, on Linux, it's just eject and then tribe path. You start restoring a mini computer for the museum at work. That's pretty sweet. What kind of system? Robot? I don't know what you're talking about, Sanity. Made some comment about let it finish. Oh. Alto 68,000. Ooh,
Laura
that sounds
says
cool.
CHER 100, the deepest pits of obscurity. Isn't that called OneDrive? End of line.
You know what's funny is that for you Windows users, OneDrive is a very annoying thing. I dipped out of Windows before OneDrive was a thing. I've never had to deal with that. So I think you guys can get the idea. This guy TV sued Microsoft. That's hilarious. I wonder if it was trying to be a part of Skype. He's a big name on Twitch. I don't know how he deals with it. That sounds horrible. But yeah, I'm really liking how this software's turning out. Let me demonstrate the multi-rip though, for a group with multiple drives. Now you've seen for the dummy thing, there are 3 possible drives that it has. There may have been an F. It looks like the Fs are on the server end. So let's find out. It hasn't logged any yet. Might take it a little bit. This reads it in real time, so maybe it might have been too small. I'm only pinging every 5 seconds because I don't want it to be a problem, but I also don't want the log files to be 3 gigabytes every day. Anyway, yes, let's do a dummy rip. All right. So, you know, we can do it the super cheesy way. I haven't actually tried it this way, but we totally could. So I'm going to set the type to dummy, and then the group to dummy here, and I'm going to call it dummy 1. I'm going to do this here, and then what about when there are errors on the disk to be ripped? Will it start an automatic DD rescue? So you don't want to use DD rescue on a CD. I'm using CD paranoia, which should do basically the exact same thing. For DVDs, it only rips with DD rescue. It will never use anything else. So yeah, for a CD, it uses CD paranoia, which effectively does that. Because an audio CD cannot be ripped with DD rescue. In the future, it will be possible to use redumper or ARU because you can just add a version of this file, CD, just copy it, rename it to ARU, and then replace the commands with ARU. And then what I'm planning on doing is setting the type to be ARU, or maybe, I'm not exactly sure how I want to handle this. I think we could set the type to an ARU RIP or maybe ARU CD or something like that, and have it work that way, and the same thing for redumper. So we'll get to that. I want to just, instead of hitching my wagon to one, I'm just going to support everything. So if you want to use CD Paranoia, boom, use this. You want to use ARU, use this. You want to use redumper, use this. It'll use dealer's choice. That's how I'm going to handle it. But let me show you how this works for now. So dummy may not be super happy now that I think about it. Groups. I'm not in the disk group, so we'll see how this works. So what dummy does is it, I have taken that into account, yes. Dummy just makes a disk image of dev random that is a random size and has a random delay. So, have you ever messed with more obscure modern operating systems? No, I do not care. I don't use Linux because it's different. I use Linux because it's better than Windows. Can CD Paranoia rip data CDs? Yes. It just rips bin queue. That's all that matters. Technically, I'm using CDRDAO, which uses CD Paranoia in the background. And that, Matt, thank you. So, okay, anyway, let's start this. Okay, I'm going to start rip, dummy 1. I'm going to go back. I'm going to set this to 2. Start rip, go back. Set this to 3. Start rip, and you'll see it's loading these into random 1, 2, and 3. These are that. Now I'm going to start rip 4. Start rip 5. Start rip 6. And it's continuing to load these into the drives. But what it's doing here is it is managing which drives are done. So random 3 gets done, and then it puts 7 into random 3 like that. So it handles managing which drives are free and which ones aren't. But this is not the impressive way to see this. So I'm going to, oh, just finished dummy 6 there. I'm going to kill this, and then I'm going to make a single dummy script here that has all of these in it. And I need to make a change really quick. Because this doesn't work the way I thought it did. Just hold on. Git, commit, disable, rip complete, status, breaks multi, sample files, git push origin web. Okay. Don't worry about that for right now. Okay, so we have our dummy item here. The groups is in preparation for the media swap robot. Yes. Let me show you how it works though. So we have this, a drive is assigned to this, but we don't need that. So this is the media sample for a dummy item. We don't actually need this group thing here, description to be correct. So we have name. This is the name of the output folder that it gets put into. The media type, dummy here, doesn't matter, but in this case, for this object, we're just pretending. Our group is dummy, and if we look in this is where the default group values are defined. The dummy group has 3 drives available for it. So I'm gonna run you through this one more time here. So we have 3 drives. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this a list, which the software supports importing a list for media samples, and that's what that thing I just commented was. I realized it would overwrite this and break it. We're going to make a list of 9 dummy objects, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and let me uniquely identify all of these. 8, 9. Okay. Save. There's no errant commas. All right, so this is that one. All right. The dummy files also prefix a timestamp to their name. That way they will always have to be re-ripped because they will always match something different, but for right now, that doesn't matter. Okay, so we're leaving this one in the input, and when we restart the software, it will see this and try to rip it, okay? So I'm going to restart the software. What's your problem? Raw decode, scan once, Python, read samples, load JSON file, FP, JSON, property, name, close, and double quotes. Why do I always mess this up somehow? Double quotes. What? Column, line 6. Is it this? Oh, I hope it's not that. It's probably that, isn't it? I hate JSON. All right, hold on. Let's just select this. Control replace. It doesn't work that way. Comma, carriage return, bracket, match, escape sequences, find all. It's open bracket, find all. How's there only one? Because I have it selected. Find all, okay. Replace with no, comma, there. Yep. Okay, unless the clock goes backwards. Hold on, let me catch up. There was a quote back in the day, some pseudo. Oh yeah, here it is. It's ripping. Okay, so it loaded 1 into drive 1, 2 into drive 2, 3 into drive 3. Okay. Drive 3 finished, so it put 4 into drive 3. Drive 1 just finished. It put 1 into drive 5, or 5 into drive 1. Drive 2 finished. It put 6 into drive 2. So you can see how it runs through the queue here. And as it finishes, we'll get 9 done here in a moment. I will show you the problem. Wow, 9 has taken a long time. There we go, 9 done. Okay, so if we look here, this is the issue. 3, 1, 2, 5, 4, 7, 6, 8, 9. The order is not guaranteed because the way I set it up, the dummy object has a random delay for the load time, and it has a random size for the rip amount. So this is kind of how CDs work. The CD that's in this drive right now is only 50 megabytes because it's just a driver for a keyboard. An audio CD will almost always be about 700 megabytes. So it would take a lot less time to rip this.
CHER 100, the dummy object. Is this another name for chat? End of line.
Chloe, thank you for the 100 bits. Computers are famously bad at counting, yeah, right? So this CD that's only 50 megs for the driver would take a lot less time to rip than the 700 megabyte audio CD. And if you loaded those in at the same time, it would always pull out the 50 megabyte disk first. That's what's happening here. So I solved it. I need to sneeze first, though. Okay. So we're going to kill this, all right? And now what we're going to do is we're going to run this with the P option, which preserves the FIFO order of the rips that it takes in. So now it's going to rerun, and you're going to see the rips finish here as it goes through. But what will happen is, bingo, dummy 4 has to wait for 2 before it can eject, and 3 has to wait for 2 before it can eject. So once 2 finishes, 3 and 4, 3 is done, and then 4 is done, because 4 also had to wait for 3. So before it will eject a later value, all earlier ones have to finish. This is because, say, you have a robot that can pick up a disk and then put it in a drive. You don't want the order that the stack for the input is to change when it becomes the output. If you took those out of jewel cases and then stacked up the jewel cases in order as well. I don't know if you're still here, but I'm uh, how handy this is sounding to you. You're probably the only person here who really gets this. Lost double connection? I mean, this is weird. Okay, what was the last you guys heard me say? Oh, it's bad. It's bad. This side, though, I don't think. This is weird. I'm seeing Twitch chat update, but it's losing connection. It's still connected. It hasn't dropped. I don't know what's going on. This is weird. Oh, looks like it's back. Okay, give me 1 second here. I want to. No. Was it back and then died again? This is brutal. Oh, yeah, big old spike. Okay, that might sound better. Maybe it doesn't. Who knows? I don't control anything. Much better? Okay. That's weird. It didn't lose connection while the internet was going out, which I don't understand. Oh, but everything else did. Wesley, thank you for the Prime sub and for 36 months. That's this many. Thank you. Everything died because internet bad. Hold on, I want to try a thing real quick, like, just give me a second here. is it? This. If I just get rid of that, do this, and then this, can I... No. Hold on, let me... Flask multiple hosts. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, hold on. Flask host. I'm gonna have to reload. Maybe switch to AV carrier pigeons? Yeah. Hold on. Deploying production. Okay, hold on. Let's just go to the Flask API. One moment. Just, what on earth? Hold on. Flask API. Hold on. So, just give me a second and I'll show you what the issue is. It's not something we can easily resolve. I'm working on it. So maybe that would be better. Flask. Okay, hold on. Python version. Yeah. Just give me the quick start. Host. Okay, I want. Why do they not link to their API stuff? Route. This will probably get me there. Okay. Hold on. Host. Okay, stat, blah, blah, blah. This is Flask. I need run. Okay. Host string, set this to server name. I know you can do multiple though. Do you just comma separate them? I don't know. Okay, if anyone knows how to set up Flask to show on multiple hosts statically, let me know. I don't know how to make the line thicker either because that didn't work. Anyway, this is my outbound connection on my server at home that I used to. Oh, that's the border I changed right there that I used to stream. There was a massive dropout of internet at my house. So that's what this spike that you can barely see indicates. So the problem cannot be solved by just dropping the stream resolution or anything like that. It is just a straight up like kink in the hose temporarily. So it won't work. Reducing the resolution, that is. It will do nothing. Wish I knew how to set multiple host ports. Should be listening on all addresses. But do I want it on all? I guess. I didn't really want it on all, but maybe it's fine. I'll have to test. Yeah, it's not finding... Oh, there we go. That worked. Okay, that's fine. I guess. Let's see how this works out. Oh, yeah, that's way better. There we go. Oh, they don't have the zoom option by default here. Okay. Well, now I can try wonky stuff. Hold on. Chart.js. Okay, let's mess with this a little bit. Being tech streamer with a bunch of people in the chat, that means tech probably got 50 people trying to give you advice. Yeah. There is that. It's also a very, very weird setup. Okay, chart types. So this is a line chart. How do I set the line thickness? Elements, line, for all line elements, line, border width. How about just like width? Tension, border width 3. So you don't have like one moment. Data border width. This doesn't make any sense what I'm seeing based on what I'm seeing with the code. Because, yeah, you like feed it data like that, but then how do you... Simple customizations, okay, but I want like the line to be thicker so I can, you know, see it. How do I do that? Show me literally one line chart example. Oh my gosh. Bar, line. Here we go. Maybe I'll get something here. Okay, display, suggested min, suggested max. No. Line type. Line styling. Here we go. Oh my gosh, that's wild. Okay. I see 0 styling. Responsiveness, plugins, interaction, something. I don't see line segment styling. That seems closer. Data segment, border color. Okay, wait a minute. That might be... Maybe I can combine this with line. How do I segments? I'm gonna try it. Hold on. Where did that go? Next to data. Segment. And then maybe border width. Why is it all so weird? Border width 3, 5. Okay, let's see if that breaks anything. It didn't change a single thing. Yeah, the line styling doesn't help. Border width, where does it go? That's the problem. That almost seemed like it would work. It's border color. That is in there, so border width. So I set that, but it didn't do anything. Segment, border width, set it to 5. I'll set it to 15. No, it's not changing anything. Type, labels, data sets. Segment. Yeah, that's where I've got it. So border color, for giggles, let me try throwing that in there. Okay, I'm maybe setting it to red. That worked. But I can't change the width. So I successfully changed the color, but not the width. Because this just changes this box. It's like there's show line, span gaps, border dash offset, join style, cap style, background color, type segment. It's like it just doesn't do it. Is it not in the quotes? What do you mean? Line elements used to represent line in a chart. Options element. So options, so you're saying instead of this here, under options, down here, hold on, data sets line. So data sets, and then well, color's quoted because it's weird. I guarantee you they're just stuffing that into CSS. So if I change that to like a hex value, it would probably work as well. And then line, maybe. No. Are line and bar charts the same thing? No. Line charts, this is not a bar chart. It looks like a bar chart, but at least I don't think it's a bar chart. Is it a bar chart? No, because this goes up, over, and then down, if I remember correctly. I think. It's hard to tell. Because it says bar in your code. Line. I hate everything. Problem solved. Okay, so where's the problem? Is this necessary? No. Okay, border width 2? That seems reasonable. Okay. All right, there we go. That'll work. Let me restart the stuff. I got to restart. This. And then for good measure, I'll just restart the Deck Talk side.
Deck Talk is now online. And
Okay.
offline.
Well, that was fun. It's an hour and we've almost made progress. All right, well, now I can watch this too, so that's handy. It's automatically logging to a new file every single day, so these will just show up. So, server net. So now when there's an internet outage or a stream problem, I can come here and we can see if there was a spike. If there was a spike, boom. Problem found. Anyway. I have no idea what the half spikes are. This is just the status code of ping. So I'm guessing it was like slow or something there. I don't know. I did it in chart.js because I've done that before and this made it easy. Alright, I don't need that right now. Okay, so I didn't mean to close that. I forget you can have tabs in console. Okay. Google be in touch with to install your fiber so the chart is rendered irrelevant. You know I would be okay with that, right? Well, I don't know how I would host a website without JS, because I'm not going to use ImageMagick to render an image of the plot and then send that. All right.
You can subscribe at tier 1. They've subscribed for 39 months and says 39.
Yeah, I need to catch up on that.
End of line.
30. I don't know what that is. Oh, wait, you say 39. Yes. Spooky, thank you for the tier 1 sub there for 39. That's this, plus I'm going with this. 39 months. That's 37. I can count. This. Nope, that's still 37. That's 4, 36. No, that's 39. 39. 39 months. Thank you, Spooky. Oh my gosh. And Steelflight, thank you for the 25 months. Sorry I didn't get to that sooner. Yeah, see, I don't want a static link to a PNG. That sounds like a nightmare. Newplot would probably be happier because my actual data set is a CSV, not JSON. And you wanna see how glorious my code is here? Check, you gotta see this. This is fantastic, okay? So since it's not I'm just doing this so it'll actually be visible. Hold on. Since it's a CSV, okay, I replace all the line ends with the braces, and then I wrap it in a list, and then I pull out the keys and values. So I convert the CSV to a JSON in stream from reading it from the file. It's beautiful. Because I don't know how to read a CSV with JSON or JavaScript. And it looked like everyone just used jQuery. And so, all right, what are we doing here? Oh yeah, this stuff. Ugh. How do I want to handle this? Very cursed indeed. Yes, thank you. Is that the exception to if it's stupid but works, it's not stupid? Because I feel like I'm close there. All right, so let's take a step back on the actual task at hand. So I can specify a media sample that gets stored in a directory where the software monitors it and begins ripping. So the basic premise for the web-initiated disk ripping works. What are our problems and what are our goals? I think it is time to start defining that. For 25-foot, 25 to 9 pin serial cables. Can I put them to use? Yes. Those are like ideal for going to and from the data general. I don't in any way deny that. It does indeed work, yes. As a code reviewer, I have some residual pain. Okay. So, again, I think intentional, or, I don't think I said this here. My end game for this, I think, is to have this software run on a Raspberry Pi. And because this software sucks so much to install, I think I need to provide their null modem. I got adapters, even if it's not what I need, so that's fine. Just don't tell Ben. What was I going to say? Raspberry Pi. I want to run this software on a Raspberry Pi eventually. And I was thinking, it doesn't really matter which one. Let's say we're going to run on a Raspberry Pi 1. Just to annoy people. I was thinking it might be cool to distribute it via Docker. But there's a problem with that. Docker probably doesn't want to pass through direct disk access. And I don't know how USB forwarding works with Docker either. I suspect all of that is super not worth trying to do with a Raspberry Pi. Because the whole point of using a Raspberry Pi is so that people don't have to learn Linux. They just set it up and go. It's kind of like a, Linux in a box type solution. So what I think it needs to be instead is a Raspberry Pi disk image that is pre-configured, has all the dependencies already set up. You just plug in the SD card after writing it, and it works. I would like to know how to do the self-expanding SD card, but other than that, I think that's probably the way to go. You heard that? Because it seems like it would be awful to do it any other way. Sounds good? Yeah. I mean, for the diehards, they can always go to the Git repo and, figure it out from there. But I think the only sensible means of distribution is PyDiscImage. So, thinking of it as a PyDiscImage, what would be the downfalls? And one downfall is restarting the software. JSCSV parser that doesn't use, that requires a different dependency though. Why not use jQuery? Mine is like 4 whole lines of code. You can't tell me that's not ideal. And if I really wanted to, I could make each replace just, a following one on the output of the previous one, and then it'd only be 1 line of code. It'd be 160 characters long, but it would be 1 line. Anyway, here's the problem. If I kill this, restart it, it's going to start re-ripping the dummy objects. That's a problem. So the line that I commented out earlier right here, what this was supposed to do was to write the done marker back to the JSON file. But I realize this only works for single JSON files. It does not work for multiple ones. So that's a problem. How many diehards would need to set up their own disk ripping stations though? I don't know. It is one of those things where I might be over-optimizing, but I don't know. Anyway, so without this, it re-rips basically every time you restart the Pi, let's say, and that's a problem. So just use DD. I would not recommend DD for CDs or floppies or hard disks. Actually, I wouldn't recommend DD for anything. DD rescue at the minimum. I'll give you a really good reason why you should start with DD rescue. if DD Rescue, actually, I have like a literal screenshot that I can show you of exactly why. Hold on. That I found this week while I was doing this. Wasn't even trying. Just 1 second. It's gonna be right here. Yeah, okay, hold on. Boom. Okay, this. This is a DVD that I tried to rip using this software, and that it just wraps DD Rescue, so it used DD Rescue, which meant I could use DD Rescue View here. So you see all these yellow squares? These are sectors of the DVD that it tried to read, and then it had problems. Now, just DD will get hung up on these. It'll find this sector, and it'll just keep hammering it until it gets a good read, and that's bad. Because if you just get stuck on that, and let's say your drive is flaky, you could kill the rest of the drive where it tries to do that. So what DD Rescue does is when it finds a bad part that it can't read, it just skips it and then keeps on going and reading the rest of the good data. So you end up getting more data preserved that way. Then it, on a following pass, will go through and try to find all of the data that it could not read. So at the minimum, use DD Rescue, because it's a much more sane way of doing it. Where robot at? I think New York. I don't know. Did manage a literal rescue with DD Rescue once. Friend had a laptop almost die. So I had the Sony PCV like 360L or whatever, the slim top, and that had 2 bad Windows 98 files on it. I was stupidly using DD at that time. And this is one of those times where I now know I should not have been. And the way I solved that was, it was actually just the cab files. Like, the very first files that were ever written to the drive were the ones that were bad, so I just replaced those. I just copied them out of the 2nd edition disk, and boom, fixed disk image. So no big deal, no user data error. Exactly, yes. And I was able to repair the disk image by just mounting it and swapping in the files. So, also, DZAC, it's funny you say it a robot. Look up Hero 1 on Facebook. I kind of want it, but I also want a grand and my hair to stay on my head more. So, okay, how can I do this? Data Destroyer? Well, in this case, it's not quite the same. Data Destroyer is usually a reference to the fact that you can get the IF and OF backwards. This case, it's the just reads that could do the destroying. So, use DD Rescue a bunch. They're helpful tools that wrap it for getting just the allocated sections of a NTFS file system. See what files are affected by bad sectors and all that. That's cool. I just use it for whole disks. What I'm doing, how much I'm doing, it's just always whole disk. So. All right, how can I handle this? Offer sent? Okay, let me rephrase that. A Hero 1, you better offered like $100. Like maybe 10. So I talked with what I'm going to call the leading expert on those. And it's you. Yeah, better than $10. Maybe a Subway gift card. I talked with who I'm going to call the leading expert on the Hero 1, and they basically said, don't. I was asking them, you offered a 4C. Okay, well, I mean, I know that that's not going to work because no one else has any value to those. Best I can do is store credit, yeah. Anyway, I was just told don't, essentially. It's not worth it. That they're really cool right up until you've done the 3 things they can do, and then, oh, that's it. That was before you said anything? Well, you might be stuck with some Hero 1s. Actually, what I've heard is a really good strategy with these Facebook Marketplace deals, okay? Is you just keep saying, oh, actually, I'm busy this day. Can we move it to this next day? Oh, I had something come up. Can we do it next weekend? You just keep doing that forever. And then problem solved. They declined your offer. Wow, that was fast. Yeah, don't try and go for it again. Also, they thought about that a little too. It sounds familiar. You offered $450 and they declined that? They really should have taken that. They should have taken that. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah, they want $1,000. I know, but I know what they've got, and what they've got. Decline any offer. DZX makes good safety advice. Let me put it this way. I know what they've got, and what they've got is they don't know what they've got. You're on the receiving end of low balls right now. Ah. Visualization. It's just what we're going through. I can't even. Just with it, how do people operate like this? The other thing is, here's what I fully expect. Okay, this is like, no one else here is going to understand this, okay? But just between me and Digital Ice Age, I fully expect you to show up with the cash at the storage unit and them to want to go up to the main office and just give it to them so that they can get into the storage unit. That's what I'm fully expecting at this point. That you are going to pay the storage bill on premises just to get access to it. They're just going to upcharge you? Yeah. Storage units are a racket? Yes. Mine's going to be 600 by the end of the year. It is, Ben. So Ben knows Digital Ice Age, because Ben has also been roped into this same problem before. Yeah, Deziac, it's a 10 by 20 air conditioned. Oh, it's funny. I said that before you sent that. And when I say it's 10 by 20, that's the listed size, but it's actually bigger. Also, there's no wire mesh above it, so upper limit is like 16 feet. It's really tall, and that is being taken advantage of. Anyway, we're just yakking. Do we want to do any programming? To reload all JSON, delete JSON folder at restart, user must type new. So I was thinking about that. That is an option. There's a potentially saner way of doing it. I mean, actually, hold on. Am I doing this already? Let's see if I am. So in the output status, yeah, I'm already doing it. So we're already basically saving this in there. So if they want to re-rip this, they just pull this in, delete that, and then go. So they could redo it. So maybe we do just delete anything. How about we delete it after it's done? 130, I hate you. I think we should delete it after it's finished, but the problem is there's no good way to know when it's done. No, I don't want restart. Because it's maybe restart if it's the web version. I assume it's the Chevy cargo van or the Ford Transit. Yeah, that can hold as much as the trailer. You don't need the tall one. Yeah, I guess we clear it if it's web. Because CLI, yeah, if you start it with the CLI and it wipes everything, that'd be kind of bad because you might have set up your RIP stuff in advance. So probably don't want to do that. It's all right. We can do that if it's... How do I do that in Python? It's probably just OS del or something. Python delete files in directory. How can I just wipe out a folder? RM tree. So actually, aren't drywall 4x10? Are they 4x8? So yeah, I think you're super good. Five by 9 or 4x8. Okay. I knew they came bigger. All right, we're gonna run shoe till, which is the delay command where you run it until the object becomes a shoe. And then RM tree. Input web, input CLI. Yeah, but I don't. Well, I mean, that's on the user. Because this folder is part of the launch parameters. So I'm setting input here as that. So, I mean, I could put a warning in the settings file here. So for web, starts web server, deletes or clears watch folder on launch. I could do that. I'm about to be told off for having dragged the chat in this direction. What do you mean? I don't know, we ain't fancy folks. We use wood panels. Just trying to make me jealous there, Desiac. Are you? Really? Come on. All right. Else. Maybe. All right, so do I have a file in there? I do. Let's see what happens when I run this now. All right, it deleted the folder and then brought it back. Yeah, it's acceptable. I can live with that. All right, so that solves that in a dumb way. Just out of curiosity, because now I can check this. Booyah, no internet issues. So bad. Okay, yeah, that solves that. I'll live with that being the solution. Okay. The next major thing, I think, is building the input options for a config based on the config data. Maybe you can connect to the internet dashboard to sign an alert when the connection is bad. They're a dashboard. Simple solution, potentially simpler. Simple user. Yeah. That also prevents them from sticking around for too long. I'm hoping ideally that the output folder is pointed at like a network share or something off of the Pi. That's part of the reason why I have that. I mean that chart. Does that come up? That does up. So yes, spikes are issues. So number bad when not zero. This is actually the result, the return code for ping. That's what I'm tracking. So I don't know what 1 means, but that's why there's a difference between 1 and 2. The ping gets missed. But, okay, I think you guys are not understanding this. If the internet is down, that means there's no way for it to notify me. I would have to ping my house and then wait for the error code here. This is useless. G-pin, yeah. Actually, if I get fiber here, that's what I plan on using my LTE modem for at home. It's going to be the stream failover connection. Oh, well, actually, I won't be streaming to home, though. Success is 0. No reply is 1. Other errors is 2. No reply. So, did the internet go down, like, right after that? That's weird. Obviously, monitor office home leg from the office. Yes, but that's what I'm saying. This chart is not useful. I could do it on the stream PC and have Deck Talk tell me, actually. If ping it, and then if it's not a 0, like say, hey, internet is dead, night night. Yep, Fontrez, yep, I was right there. Okay. Typing too slow, yeah, no problem. We need to do some stuff. Well, first off, let's commit what we got. All right. Git commit -am in web mode. Treat JSON watch dir as cache and clear on start. Git push origin web. Okay. Literally don't need to feed it anything. Just the end of line explanation is enough. It can actually trip end of line accidentally. A per web option for destination of the rips. I mean, I could just add web as a parameter. Instead of having web be action store true, it's just web.
Ultimate says CHEER 100. This is a test of the emergency Deck Talk system. If your internet was really bad, this message would be followed by emergency information. End of line.
Ben, thank you for the 100 bits. The web interface, rip to select directory? Absolutely not. Because then they have to be able to browse the remote directory. Yeah, but like, where, Desiac? You got a link. Yeah. And then the other problem is that there's like one company left that does this, and that if you just migrate from one unit to another, are they going to let you actually do that? I don't know. What am I doing? I'll keep the the web JSON location thing in mind instead of store true. I'm open to the idea. So Lightbrain user rip to SD Pi card. I mean, that's on them. That part's going to be clear. I'm not going to hold their hand through everything. It's going to be pretty obvious that you need it to go to someplace that can actually store stuff. Oh, they have a 20 by 15. Also like how they're not lying and saying there's only one left on all of these. Here's the other problem. I have 2 of them that are that size. Cheaper locations? Why didn't I see these? I wonder if something has changed in the market. 20 by 15's outside. Ground floor, outside. Oh, yeah, never mind. Screw that. Because I swear they weren't this cheap. Okay, that's good to know. Oh, that'll suck. No, I'm not with that company, thankfully. So that could be new. It could be fully new. Because you know how this works, right? You get that price for the first year, and then they just start doubling it, like every year. That's the problem. I don't know, Lapasic. You're thinking too far ahead right now. We don't have basic functionality implemented. We don't need the hand-holdy user actions. That can all come later. I just needed the immediate rip problem solved. So, $1 first month, assuming it'd only be for 2 weeks, but then things happened. Yeah. And that's how I'm currently involved in $1,200 of storage units. Yep, I get it. Okay, what was I doing? Not this. Not that. Not that. Not that. Oh, I know what. Okay. So, under web here, I need to be able to call the actually, what does this call? So there's a config dump parameter. Let me just run that to show you really quick. So I assume it's D here. If I run this, media handler manager is not defined. Okay, well, I love it when I break stuff. And this is why a house is greater than office, sure, dollars per square foot is higher. It doesn't include fringe benefit of 20 by 20 storage unit called a garage. That's more complicated. Handler media manager. And then I have to commit this. But still need data manager. Okay. Data. How did this all get removed? What do you mean start? Okay, to test.json, I suppose. And then we look at this here. Okay, there we go. All right. I must have like a debug line or something in there that says start. Dog faces and narc, yeah. Anyway, so these are all of the configuration options for everything. The way the software works is at the top of, let's say, CD here, okay? There is a config data dictionary, and it contains settings that you can change. So, for example, CDRDAO driver. This is the generic driver with byte swap enabled. So if you're ripping, say, an audio CD, the byte order is correct. And that's important to know for how this works. So this value gets used later on in the code somewhere. It's supposed to highlight. See if I do that. There we go, because it's way out there. So the config data gets loaded there in this billion character line long, literally 272 characters. That's insane. Thing. So the driver is loaded there. I have code that loads in all of the media types and then extracts the config data for them, and then allows you to output that as a config dump file. So what I need to do is have the web software get this and then automatically build a web interface that has like inputs to allow you to configure all of these. So that's gonna be a thing. So I need to make a JavaScript function that builds HTML from that essentially. Correct byte orders for when you want like valid data. Yeah, for those people who want to listen to audio and not have it be, you know, static. Okay. How are we gonna do this? Dogface, quick question. Are the things that are going to impact me going to have 2 weeks in Taiwan? Just out of curiosity. If you forget to byte swap to harsh noise, wall does become melodious. Well, yes, when it's quiet. Because when it's quiet, the low order becomes the high order and the audio becomes audible. It's weird. That's your burden? Okay. Good. It says, I haven't heard back from party number 2. Party number 1, I have heard back. It is being worked through. Monday, Tuesday. Okay. Yes, I have not heard back from party number 2 yet, though, at all, since my initial contact. Am I being obsequious enough? Okay. So it looks like first off, for the optical data type, I need to fix this to not be this, but instead be none. That way this outputs correctly. And did I see anything else there? No. Okay, so that's fine. Man, if I stall for 19 more minutes, I don't have to write this software. I mean, let's do some work.
100NX, this'll turn into spy phrases and stuff as the package arrived. No, the birds tweet at midnight. End of line.
Man, I hope I don't get a package delivered at midnight. Ugh. Chloe, thank you for the 100 bits. Let's see. Not sure obsequious is the word you're looking for. No, it's not. I always want obsequious to mean like vague but funny, but it doesn't mean that. I know it doesn't. What's the current object count? 4, but 2 of them are known. But the other 2 are going to be made semi-public soon. Yeah, Ben. Okay, so I need to fix... Actually, I think I should move this into the data handler thing. The media reader, maybe. Maybe just handler? Nah, media reader. We'll put it in there. All right. So I'm going to pull from PyDiscRip the code that builds that whole thing, all of this, all of that. I don't want that there anymore. I want that in def get config options. All right. Fun thing I'm doing, this class is never meant to be instantiated, so I don't actually put self in there. It never has a state. So I hate this, but it's working. It really bothers me, but it's fine. Also, this is the Python syntax for joining 2 dictionaries. Just fun note there. Dog face. Gosh. It's actually in some ways better. Yeah, well, the only reason I'm doing that is because this does a lot of threaded nonsense. So I don't want states anywhere because they're unusable. So is media reader even being loaded by this class? It is. Okay, so I can do media reader here. Media reader. Oh, wait, I screwed it up. Let's close this and this and this. Okay, so I want media reader here and then get config options. Okay. So now that will still work exactly the same. I'm just going to delete test.json and rerun the same command. Media reader has no attribute doodadamajigger. Well, what if I save the file? Will it then? Oh, I see how it is. Okay, and then this now contains, yeah, just reload whatever. It's the only difference, yeah, that becomes null. Perfect. Okay, so that works. And now I can call that in other things. Did you ever hit Linus in the face with a pie? No, but he packed my 486 at LTX. Try the set operators. Now they're fun to get your head around. I don't know the set operator. Is that one of those, or do I? Is set the one where it dynamically creates the getters and setters for a value? Preface out dog face. Oh. Carson is beating his pie world record. Oh, yeah, that. Okay, what was I doing? Yes, now we provide this via web. So media reader. Okay, So we're going to have a new thing here. Config data.json. Config settings data.json doodad of a jigger. Okay, so that. So then under settings, wherever that is, settings JSON, this. Okay, so I'm just going to duplicate that. Boop, and then this, and then I'm going to take this code, and then I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. Boom. So now if I rerun the web version, bingo, and we go here, and we go config underscore data.json, boom, we get that. The headers aren't right, but who cares about headers? Please say, shut up, Deziak. There you go, happy. Static list type where you can exclude, shared, or include distinct values from one of two sets. Cool, so it's like enums.
CHEER 100, yes, thanks. End of line.
Dogface, thank you for the 100 bits. Alright, so we can get that. Now we have to work on the JavaScript side. Ugh. I hope you guys like field sets, because I'm about to use them a lot. So if we go to static script.js. By the way, how do you do static shares in Flask where it's like only static stuff? Because I couldn't get it to work like normally. It was really weird. Like, I want a Python file, okay, that you just run and then it just hosts that directory. Like, I'm sure if I like learned even the slightest tiny amount of Apache or Nginx, I could just do it with that. But instead, I want Python. I don't know. I should probably just learn how to run a Nginx instance like dynamically. There's got to be a way of like hosting a directory just with the process. Okay, what am I doing here? I need a script. Build options group list. No, we don't want that. We want based on a thing like this. All right. We want onload to grab this stuff. Super simple Nginx config. Ah, but see, I don't want a config file. I just want it to be launch parameters. Dynamic route, the file existence check. No. So in Flask, you can specify static directories like this, but I couldn't get it to work without a subdirectory for some reason. That's the problem. This is related to the web uptime checker thing, because I was trying to get that to work, and it just would not work without a subdirectory. And I also did a home rule so that I could have... Well, I didn't want it. I was just going to serve a static HTML page, but I ended up using that to also get it to work, and then use that to glob the log files to make a link list. Anyway, doesn't matter. I just wish it worked better. All right. Let's do... I should break this up into multiple functions. Object to form, and then we'll make another one that is load config options. So this actually won't have a window listener. And then this will be load config options. So that, but then this is not that. We'll call object to, we'll open the settings. So I could go, yes, those are settings, and then close it. We'll do object to form, but this needs not an event. And a data thing. And we'll call that. Okay, because that'll let me reuse that later if I want to make a form out of just random data. Okay. Apparently you can create a dictionary next to your model named, a directory named static, and it'll just be shared. Something like that, yeah. You can also use Nginx for proxy back to Flask. See, you're thinking too web hosty. This is, like, I literally spent 40 minutes on this morning. I just set up a bash script that just pings the server and logs that as a CSV through an echo statement. And then I wanted to be able to access something that just turns that into a chart through HTML. I'm not running like a permanent service or anything. I'm just going to collect data for a little while and see how it works out. And then I'll probably shut it down. I don't need like a whole vhost or anything like that. Yeah, they'll say static files is done in the way that I did it, but then it doesn't work. I don't know what to tell you. It's just weird. It was more of a complaint, not really like a cry for help. Okay. I need this. Okay. So we're going to do this. Data. Okay, that's all. I'm liking that. Knowing how to do basic stuff with it is very useful. I mean, yeah. Come from jobs with a couple thousand web servers, so splitting things logically is ingrained at this point. I get it. But this is, you're thinking good, and I'm thinking garbage. Like, there's one person who's going to look at this, and it's this guy right there. And he has a really bad habit of using computers to do stupid, simple things. Like this. Python M HTTP server. I forget what that one is. Is that a different web server thing? False. You're subjecting all to all of us to this? Yeah. I don't need good. I need a quick hack? Yes. Sometimes that's the best. It's like you gotta know how much effort it's worth it to put in. All right. I also need, there's a way of checking if a thing is a thing. How do we do that? It's like instance, no. How do we check if one thing is another? No, it's one thing leads to another, not one thing is another. Never mind. Includes, no. Okay. JS is instance of. Okay. Auto instance of JS test if dictionary. I guess object is correct. Constructor. If is a dictionary. No idea what's going on. Is this spaghetti compile and run yet? It has run the entire time. It is literally running right now. So Dogface, I'll give you the cliff notes. This is a web interface to a multimedia format ripping front end, back end thing. So I can set my type to optical disc, my group to CD DVD, which will find any CD drive in my computer. I can say I'm going to rip this as name dog face. All right, the description there, and then I'm going to start the rip. That's going to put a JSON file here, and then it's going to start ripping the CD in my drive as a bin queue here in just a moment. There we go. And there's the bin queue files. So it's a whole thing for that. Why didn't you just use automatic ripping machine? Does it support Greaseweasel and floppy disks? Does it support CD changer robots? Does it automatically derive data? Here is the content of the folders of the stuff that was in there. Wait, why did the ISO 9661 not work? ISO. Oh, that's not good. Why is that not working now? I mean, it's all great. The content one, can you use a Hero 1 to robots change the CD? No. Yeah, I've also never heard of automatic ripping machine. I guarantee mine's better. Like, no offense, mine's better. Guaranteed. Check to see if it's audio, video, TV, rips it. So does it support CD-ROM? Doesn't look like it. Python Flask UI? Huh, I wonder where they got that idea. Yeah, no, this is not what I want. It's just not. In theory, this should have extracted the files from this ISO. I don't know why that didn't happen. Working on track. Converting ISO 9660 to Z files. Oh, is 7-zip not installed? No, it is. Well, I'll fix that later. See now? Yeah. Mine just does more. That's what it's all about. It does more. Shed paper tape support. That's just serial. There's not a lot to record with that. Type of. Okay, undeclared variable, undefined. So it's object, function, any other object, object. Okay, so I think we can do that. Should I add Laserdisc support? I'm actually thinking about it. It would make sense. Because that is a predictable process. If you go through the GW tool stuff, it can kind of figure out where it needs to rip. The manual parts will be joining things. All right. So I'm trying to remember if key, yeah, key will be the name. So it would be type of, wait, what? Console log type of operator. Oh, that's awful. I hate that. If type of value does not equal object, is array an option? I'm gonna guess that it's also an object. Well, that kind of, yeah, I guess that's fine. Does not equal object. We add label with key, add input with name for value. Okay. ASIC Laserdisc converter when? I don't know. That's not really the problem. Oh, what do you want? Phone. All right. Let's see. And then here it would be else. Go deeper. Oh, actually, should this be recursive? I think we found a recursive function. Ooh. One of my favorite things to do when I make a recursive function is put a comment at the top. Warning. Recursive. Yeah, I think that's how that's going to need to work. Because if we've got this, we're going to make a field set, and then it's going to have options in it that'll be label input. Then this would be a field set, then it would have label input. Yeah, I think that's how that has to work. So if it's an object, we'll make let me click here. New field set. Label with key. Go deeper. Yeah, I think that's how that has to work. I don't think there's any arrays in this. Yeah, everything is key pair. Tuple. Okay. All right, let me commit this. Git commit. Is there a shorter one? I guess. Start. Planning. Config. Oh my gosh, I swear I can type. Config UI. Git push origin web. Alrighty. Okay, so how many internet dropouts did we have? Was it just the one? That seems like getting off pretty light. Yep, just the one. Although it was a big one. So from 1241 to 1243, that was a 2.5 minute dropout on the internet. That's pretty bad. But hey, we can track that now. That's pretty handy. But I think that'll be it for the moment. So, I know I still have so much coffee. All right. Did I get real internet? No. You know how bad is this, Dogface? Sorry. That chart that I just pulled up, that is a response code log from me pinging my ISP's website at home. So anything that's not a flat line at the bottom is an error code, and I'm now tracking when my home internet goes down because it's so bad. That's not even the office, and it's that bad. So, yeah, and that's the one local internet monopoly here. Yeah, don't disrespect it. So yeah, that's not the office internet. I swear is more reliable than my home internet. It's ridiculous. So, and you know, maybe I could dual stream over LTE. No, I think I actually do have bandwidth limits in addition to the data cap. So, yeah. Why you don't have two fiber providers at home? Exactly. I know, right? Like I should at this point. Anyway, I should connect to my server over here and start the outro. Fort Woods has fiber? Yes, because for some reason the sticks get fiber first because it's new infrastructure and they're not going to waste their time building out the old stuff. But monopoly subsidized, you know, entrenched areas where they've all made battled into each other's networks, they don't have any motivation to make their services better. So, yeah. Anyway, enough of me wanting to complain about capitalism and other things. That's going to be it for today. So, What were we gonna do tomorrow? I said we were gonna do a thing. Oh, let's fix the single gift sub thing tomorrow. We'll do that at the start. And then I really want to scan that 1206 manual. Like, that's our actual objective, but we're gonna fix the single gift sub thing first, because I think we could be able to do that. I should have a log that I believe I can work with off of that. If not, we'll just skip straight to the scanning. So, yep. Let's fix Hydra Thunder Monitors. That's not how that works. Can't just decide to do that. That's approaching a data general level project, actually, because I have to pull out the CRT, look at all the caps on it, make a cap map, order the caps while the CRT is out, get the caps in, recap them, replace the flyback, and then put it back in. And by the way, it weighs like 80 pounds and is super fragile, so it's like, yeah, anyway. Yeah, all right, that's it for today. So come back tomorrow if you want to see a little tiny bit of the same kind of programming that I did today, and some scanning and preservation, because, yeah. But that's it for now. So I know that's what the forklift's for, but I also have to get the seats removed to get the forklift in place. And also, you have to remove the control panels to be able to pull the glass out, to be able to pluck the CRT out. It's really, really not easy. Yeah, anyway, that's it for now. If y'all enjoyed the stream, you may want to follow to be notified when I go live again next. If you want to help support the channel, you can find me on Patreon or get a shirt like this one. If I talk fast enough, you know that I'll make it in time. That's it for now, and I will see you all next time.